I am Dr. Mohammad Rafi, Associate Professor, Department of Cybersecurity at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today I want to discuss about the network programming and management subject, in which the topic is thread, the creation and termination. Thread. What is a thread? Thread is nothing but it is a lightweight single processor. Here is a thread is a single sequence of executions within a program which allowing for a parallel operation. That means a process having many threads, which is having number of thread 1 and thread 2, thread 4, thread 5, thread 1, thread 2, thread 3, thread 4, thread 5. Multiple threads, which is having the multiple threads, which will be executed. Single sequence, single flow of execution can be done with the help of thread within the program. So, which is the process which is maintaining the multiple thread. That's why the parallel operations can be performed using the thread. Thread creation. Thread the creation, it is a process of initiating the new thread. That means process of initiating new thread is nothing but a newborn, thread newborn of the execution within a program. Thread newborn is nothing but a thread creation. Thread termination. Thread termination, that means is a process of ending the thread execution within a program. That means stop. The execution, thread execution is a stop. We can call it as a thread termination. Generally, these are the thread, the termination can be done with help of these once the process is interrupted, or process is in a sleeping mode, process is interrupted, or the process is in sleeping mode. If the process is in a sleeping mode, process is in sleeping mode, or the process or the keeping in a waiting state, So, generally here these the thread termination can be done. That's why we can say it as a thread is a process of ending a execution, threads execution within a same the program. In a network the programming, thread creations, that is newborning threads, which is involving the starting new threads that can be handle the network other task like sending and receiving data. Here thread termination is involving, which is ending such a thread once the task is completed to free up the resources. If it is task is completed, now it will be the free up, that means thread will be the terminated. Otherwise here thread will be the running. Here is thread creation generally, which will refers to the process of a starting new thread or starting newborning thread within the program. That means it will be performing a specific other task occurrence with other threads. So this is a fundamental concept in a multi-threaded programming. Generally, threads creation and termination in a process. So these thread the creation and thread termination in the process. So these are all the fundamental concepts in a multi-threading. Here, with this the multi-threading, now the concurrency can be achieve the concurrency. Multiple other tasks can be performed with help of the multi other threading. So this is a technique, multi-threading. This multi-threading is a technique. So in this other technique now, so which this is the technique now which allowing a program, that means which allowing a program means now we can allowing the set of other instructions to executing the multiple other threads concurrently. Here this is the use of the multi-threading. Next, so this is a life cycle of a thread. Here first you have to consider the new thread. First you have to consider the new thread. See, it is a new thread creating new thread it is nothing but it is a newborn thread. Newborning is called the new thread. After borning the new thread, after creating the other thread, now we can run the thread by using the runnable state. Number of state. Now we can see here the number of state in a thread life cycle is a newborn, runnable, running, and blocked state and dead state or stop the state. We can say it as a. Here if you take the first newborn state, it is nothing but a thread created initially. Once the thread is created, now which is the start. By using the start method or by start method or run method, start or run method, we can say it as a run method. By using start or run method, now the process can be sent to the runnable. The process will be start. Runnable means here the process, whatever the process is initiated, which is ready to execution. Ready to execution is called as a runnable. If it is ready to execution, the process is available for performing the task immediately. It will be transferred to the running state. Running state is nothing but it is a executing the state. Here, in which if the process is not properly executed, it can be sent back to the runnable state by using the yield method. Here this is a continuation. So this one is the continuation. The process, it will be the continued. The cycle is a repeating number of times. Now it will be repeating. Here if it is not executed completely, now which is sending to the runnable other state. If it is, suppose in this the process, if any disturbances, any abort will happen, so that can be sent to the blocked state. That means here the interruption, the process interruption will happen. Now generally suspended. When will happen means with help of this suspended method. If any process is suspended, so that can be sent to the blocked state. Or if it is in a sleeping mode, the process is in a sleeping mode now, so we can send to blocked state or waiting state or any interruptions. So the process can be sent to the blocked state. Here the process, again whatever the process are sending to the blocked state, it will be again executed, again sent to the executed with help of the resume method. If it is in a suspended or sleeping mode, if it is sent to the blocked state, from that the blocked state again now which is sent to the runnable the state with help of the resume method. And whenever here the process is in a waiting state, now it will be again sent to the for runnable state with help of the notify method. Here if it is the completed, the process, the execution of the process is completed. Once if it is completed, now we can stop the process. With the help of the stop method now, the process can be stopped and sent to the dead state. So it is a dead state. Dead state means here it is not executed. Here the process is not executed in this level. And direct now newborn, if it is any issue is there, so newborn, from newborn state also now we can send to the dead state. If it is not suitable now, we can send to the dead state. And here from here blocked state also, from blocked state also now we can send to the dead state. Direct now with help of the stop method, if it is the process is stopped, immediately sending to the dead state. Dead state, if it is received the processing, if it is received the dead state is received, that whatever the process now we are performing, that means it is the process is stopped. Like this now, the process can be performed and executed with help of this thread life cycle. So it is a thread life cycle. Thread creation. Thread creation is the process of a starting new thread. Process of starting new thread. So within a program, that is a newborn threading. Thread creation is nothing but a borning the new thread. This can be done by using the various other programming languages and libraries. Here is the overview of the thread the creation. Generally, thread can be created by using Java language or C++ language or Python language or database management system. By generally by using these are the languages, threads can be created. Let us discuss first Java programming language. Java the programming language, that means now it is extending the thread class. Extending the thread the class. Here is now we can write the syntax class thread. Name of the class is a my thread. Name of the class is my thread. Here which is extended as a thread. New thread is the creating. Thread is new. Thread is the borning. Here by using this the code in a Java programming language, the thread creation can be implemented. Here is a public void run. That is system out.println thread is running. If it is the thread is created, now we can run the thread. We can executing the thread. That is public class the main method. Now we are using the main method. So in this main method, the thread can be created. Public static void main string arguments. So the syntax and my thread T1. That is one object thread object is created. If it is T1 is the created, thread object is the created new thread. New means new operator. Here with help of this new operator, now we can create the new thread. The name of the new thread is my thread. My thread is created. So by using this the syntax, once if it is thread is created, so that can be accessed. That means T1 dot the starting the process. Once if it is the starting, the process is starting. Thread the creation process is starting. The flow of execution is started. Immediately it will be sent to the runnable state. Here is the runnable state. Now after thread born, we are sending to the runnable state. That is implementing the runnable interface. Here is the code for runnable the state. That means runnable means here the process, whatever the other process is initiated, the process is ready to execution. So that is a runnable. Here is class my runnable, that is implement the runnable. Public void run system out dot the println thread is running. Next, the runnable the thread can be created. Public class main, public static void main string arguments. Here thread T1, that is a new thread, new runnable. By using these, by creating the new other thread, runnable thread created. So forwarding the other process can be once after the new boarding the new thread, that can be transferred to the new runnable thread, in which the processes are ready to execute. After runnable other thread and running, the thread is running. That means running means executing. Executing means the performing the operations. Here is it is implemented by using the other Python. In various the languages can be implemented using thread the module, importing thread. That is different here. By default, print the message. Definition here we are defining it as a print message. Print thread is running. Thread equals to threading dot thread. We are joining threading dot the thread, that is a target equals to print the messages thread dot start. Execution will be done by creating this other thread. Now the execution, the process can be done. C++ using the C++ the thread libraries, we can write it as thread the creation has include iostream and iostream.h hash include thread void print message std double colon count thread is running std and ln int main std double colon thread t. Name of the object is a thread object is a t, which is printing the messages. Dot join, waiting for the thread to finishing the process, and return 0. In a C++, now we can write like this. Thread the termination. Generally, once the process is executed, generally threads can be terminated. If it is terminated, the process, that means here the threads is the terminated, which is sent to the dead state. If the thread is sent to the dead state, which indicates thread is terminated. Thread the termination, so it is a process of ending a thread execution. Thread is ended, the execution thread is ended means here, so it is terminated. This can happen in several ways. Normal the terminologies in a thread the termination. The thread completes its execution of the run method or exit normally. So this is a normal termination. Normal termination of the thread. Next, forced termination. Thread forced termination. The thread is forcibly stopped by the another thread, by a program. So this can be very dangerous and might leave the shared resources in any inconsistent states. In a Java or in a Python, generally the termination can be done by using the stop method. So these are the stop method forcefully start the thread the terminations generally. In Python also, threading module does not provide a way of to forcible terminating a thread. Instead of this, the stop now thread should be the designated to be the check for the termination condition. By making one condition, now we are terminating the thread. The condition here it is a, if it is the process is executed, if it is the completed, now make it as a thread terminating. Exception handling. Exception handling means here the thread throws and uncatch exceptions leading to its terminations. So this is the exception handling. So that means once the exceptions are handled in a thread the execution, so it will be sent to the blocking state. If the exceptions are happened, now it is sending to the block state by using the methods interrupt method, sleep once if it is a sleep method, and waiting method. if it is any exceptions are arise while executing this the process, these are the three methods can be utilized and sent to the block the state. From that the block state, again now if you after some time delay, again now if you want to send to the that executable or runnable other state, so you may send by using the yield or notify. By using yield or notify other methods, now again we can execute the instructions. Here generally in a thread the creation and the termination, generally the terminologies, what terminologies we will consider means here proper synchronization mechanisms like locks, semaphores or condition variables should be used to avoiding the raising conditions and which will ensures that the safety. And resource management. In a resource management here, the resources means here resource utilizations. The resources generally memory, file handle, etc. It will be ensures that as a resources. It will be properly released. Once when a thread is the terminates to avoid the resource leak, it will be the terminated. So the resource management can be done like this. And graceful shutdown. Graceful shutdown generally it is implemented in a way that now to gracefully shut down the other threads. That is whatever the other flow is happening, single the flow of control, single instruction is happening. That means which is shutting down the threads based on the preference. Generally, these are the threads. Whatever the threads now we are taking, these are the threads. So periodically we can check the termination signals or exit termination signals. Now the termination signals are reached or not. We have to periodically check for some time delay. If the termination signal is reached, that means the process execution is completed or the process is aborted or interrupted. Generally, the termination signals we can receive immediately, terminate the process and send to the dead state. Terminated the process can be sent to the dead state and exit very cleanly. Here is understanding and managing the thread the creation and the terminations are very important for building the robust and efficient multi-threaded applications. Multi-threaded application means here the concurrency and multiple other threads at a time can be executed. So in this the application now we can utilize this thread the creation and the termination. It is very crucial for the building robust and efficient multi-threaded applications. Here is thread creations or terminations have a different real-time applications. Many real-time applications is there in thread creations. Now it will be utilized different areas, that is a operating system and web servers, real-time systems, gaming and multimedia applications. Here the scientific computer and networking. So these are all the applications and net database management system in different areas. Different areas now this the thread the creation and the terminations can be utilized. These are all the real-time applications of a thread the creations and terminations. Here is operating system. So one of the real-time application of thread the creation and termination in the operating system, now we can create the threads and terminating the threads. How we are creating and terminating means now which is we can discuss in two other categories. That is a multi-threading is a one category and another one is a process or the scheduling. In process scheduling, now we can create the threads and terminating the threads. Once the process is completed, we can terminating the threads. Here is in a multi-threading operating system uses the threads to manage the multiple other tasks simultaneously. That means which include the handling different other processes and the system calls. Process the scheduling. Process scheduling means here in a process scheduling, the threads that can be allow the operating system to switch between the task quickly or improving the system responsiveness and the performance in a process the scheduling. So this is operating in an operating system. The threads the creation and the termination can be utilized like this. Web servers. Web servers here generally we can we can creating the threads in a web servers. By creating the threads in a web servers, multiple client requests concurrently can be accessed. Here is in a web server generally web the servers multiple other client the request can be accessed concurrently. Here is a n number of the device 1, device 2, device 1, device 2 up dash dash device n number of the devices. Now we can handle the n number of devices. So that is a concurrent handling. Multiple client requests at a time we can access, and which ensuring that efficient handling of the multiple other connections. Load balancing. Load balancing means here threads help the distributed workload evenly across the multiple processors or some other coring. The load balancing can be utilized. Mainly it is a help to distribute the workload in a multiple other processing system. So that is a web server. Real-time systems. Real-time systems are embedded systems and automated systems. That means embedded systems. So in embedded systems, real-time operating system (RTOS), which is used threads to managing the real-time tasks and ensuring the timely executions. Timely the executions and automotive systems. In automotive system, in a vehicles, threads are used to handle the various real-time tasks. Various real-time tasks such as a sensor data processing and control systems and these the information and systems that can be considered it as a automotive systems. It will be utilized. Gaming. If you take the game engines, games which is uses the threads that can be handles the different aspect such as a rendering, physical calculations, input handling, and providing the very smooth and responsive gameplays. Network playing. In a network the playing, now we can create the threads. Multiple other threads can be created. So by creating these the multiple other threads and we can manage the network the communication between different devices. That means from the many other clients we can establish the communications to the single server and the synchronization between the players also. Synchronization at a time we can network the play at a time here between the two other players at a time. Now the playing can be mechanism can be implemented. The playing mechanism can be implemented. So that is a gaming. That's why multiplayer games which will be creating the threads. Concurrency the control can be done in a network the playing. Multimedia applications. Multimedia applications are generally here we can consider the audio and video processing. Here audio video processing, multimedia applications which create the threads. With the help of these multimedia the applications now, effectively we can execute the test threads to process the audio and video streaming concurrently. Here is which ensuring very smooth the playback and editing. Streaming services. Streaming services are threads handle the multiple the streaming and user the interactions simultaneously, which improving the user the experience. Here is it is a multi the media applications and scientific the computing. Scientific the computing means here parallel computing, that is generally these the threads or multi threads are generally utilized in a scientific simulations and the computations to divide the task into the smaller part. The task can be divided into a small part which allowing the parallel the processing and faster the execution. And here data analysis. Data analysis means large database or large data sets can be processed more efficiently using the multi-threading techniques. Concurrently, now we can perform. The data can be analyzed effectively, whether whatever the data sets are you are using for process, whether suitable or not, whether it will be efficient or not. Now we can decide with the data analysis process. In a parallel computing here, that means the concurrency, the concurrent the mechanism can be applied, and parallelly multiple executions can be performed. Multiple the tasks are executed with a parallel the computing. That's why now it is used in a scientific simulations and computations to dividing the task into smaller tasks. It is the smaller task now the process can be executed very here. This is a parallel the computing data analysis. That is these two now we can consider as a scientific computing. Here is networking. Networking means here protocol implementation, real-time communications. These two consider under the networking. So these networking are the protocols now we can use the threads. So with help of these other threads, whatever the threads we are using in a network, so to handle the different layers and the tasks, such as data the transmission can be handled, and error checking can be handled, and also communicate, and also the connection management. If it is the connection is well and good here, effectively we can establish the communication and real-time communications. Real-time communications applications like VoIP and video conferencing. So use the threads to manage the real-time the data transmissions and receptions. So this is a real-time the communication can be done with help of the networking. And database management system. Database management system, the threads can be utilized for the query the processing and the transaction management. Take the query and the processing, how the threads are utilized, how the single flow of the controls or threads, single flow of instructions can be utilized. Databases which uses the threads that can be executes the multiple other queries simultaneously and improving the performance and responsiveness. This is about the query and the processing. Transaction management system. In a transaction management system, what we'll do, threads help, it can be manages the concurrent other transaction. That means multiple other transactions can be performed. Concurrent transactions means multiple other transactions can be performed. So after performing the multiple transactions, ensuring the data consistency and the integrity. Here is in this summary, now you can say it as a thread creation, terminations are the fundamentals to many real-time applications. Many real-time applications which is providing the necessary concurrency, and responsiveness is required in various other domains. From operating systems and web servers, operating system, web servers to gaming and scientific computing. So it can be utilized. Here in the conclusion now, we can say it as a thread creation and termination of the threads now, which play the very crucial role in enhancing the performance and efficiency of the real-time applications on a various other domains by enabling the concurrent executions of the task threads, which ensuring that the system can be handled multiple operating systems, multiple other tasks can be handled, and web servers to gaming, multimedia, scientific computing, networking, and database management systems. The use of these other threads is instrumental in meeting the demand of the modern complex applications. Understanding and effectively managing the threads is therefore which are the essential for developing robust and high performance systems. Here the textbooks are the Unix network the programming and Subramanian management that's the principles and practices, the reference books internetworking with the TCP IP and William Stalin's web references. These are all the this link are the web references for thread creation and other terminations. Threads can be created in a thread creation and a thread terminations. Threads can be created if it is created effectively. The process can be completed within this time, and once if it is completed, the thread can be terminated normally. Otherwise, any interruptions or any the inference of the sleeping mode, or if any thread is in waiting state, those other threads can be terminated. Here again, if you want to run that other threads now, by using the resume method, we can utilize and run the other threads. So whatever the threads are in a waiting state for a long time here, now those threads can be notified and sent to runnable method by using notify method. So, and after this the notified method here, after applying the notified method, the threads successfully executed the process successfully and terminate. So this is about the thread the creation and the termination.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.